So let us start it quickly because it is a lengthy experiment. If it would be in offline, then like more than 3 hours is required for this experiment, but it is online, so we can complete in time. Okay, so here today we'll discuss, we'll perform the experiment kinetics of Eastern hydrolysis. First of all, we should know what you mean by kinetics. Okay, so here we are determining the rate constant of a reaction, and here we are taking the reaction of catalysis, acid catalysis of ethyl acetate in presence of water. Okay, so it is basically it is the reaction in between water and ethyl acetate, and here acid means dilute HCl is used as a catalyst to catalyze this reaction. Okay, so so the like what is the requirement to know the rate of a reaction or to know determine the rate constant of a reaction? Okay, so you can see in this slide that when we are getting some pain or like whatever, we take some medicines, and in some medicines it is written that SR, it means sustainable release. Okay, so and that means like it will the once you have taken the medicine, it will continue, means the effect will continue for a longer time. Okay, so that means it is sustainable release. Okay, so it does not mean that it will quickly release the molecule to your body and immediately you will get relief, but it may not continue for a longer time. Okay, so here if we know the rate of the reaction, and then pharmacokinetics, there is one subject in like those who are studying medical. So there is one subject is pharmacokinetics, means to study the rate of action of the medicines. Okay, how fast or how slow it is acting or releasing the molecule in our body. Okay, so these are the, and you know, half-life period. So that is also equally important when we are treating the cancer patients. Okay, so the half-life period is very important because which radioactive element you are with, which one you are using as radiopharmaceutical to inject to the body of the patient, to know the which region is affected by cancer, that is also equally important. Means if the half life period is too long, then that element will stay for a longer time in the body of the patient, so that again you will radiate radiation, and due to that the patient may die. Okay, so we have to choose the half life period, means the element in such a way that based on the half life periods. Okay, do you understand what I'm going to explain you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then like if it is too short also during the preparation, during the injection of that like radiopharmaceutical to the body of the patient, then also half life period if it is attending, then also we are not able to get the exact picture where the cancer is, which cell is much affected by the disease. Okay, so to know the exact location or to know the exact point where the like disease is affected or which organ is affected much, so that we can know by using radiopharmaceutical. So basically here also half life period or rate is playing a playing an important role. And again, here you can see there is written speeding up a process at a large scale can save a company millions of dollars, because if your rate of production is will be high, then also you are producing like much products, like in more products. If the rate of your production is low, so then we are getting more profit when we are producing more products to commercialize or to sent to the market. So here the rate, actually these things I am explaining why, how the experiment is important for us. Okay, so then coming to the topic, what we will do now. So here we are so already these things you know, stoichiometry, rate loss, so that I'm not explaining. Exactly coming to the point. Yes. So here we are using water as a reactant, and ethyl acetate is another reactant. So they reacting together in the presence of a catalyst, that is your HCl here. So it is, that's why it is called acid catalyzed. You are getting acetic acid and ethyl alcohol. Okay, you are getting ethyl alcohol and acetic acid. So you know pseudo first order reaction, this one, because water is used in large excess and we are not counting as a reactant. So here rate is directly proportional to the ester concentration and not the concentration of water. Although it is a second order reaction, still we are considering it is a first order reaction because here the concentration of water we are neglecting. So the rate constant for the first order reaction K is equal to 2.303 divided by T log A by A minus X. So A is the initial concentration and A minus X is the final concentration at time T. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
But this equation will take the form K is equal to 2.303 divided by T log V0, sorry, V infinity minus V0 divided by V infinity minus Vt. Okay, so A is replaced by V infinity minus V0 and A minus X is replaced by V infinity minus Vt. So the reason is V0 is the initial acid what we have used as the catalyst to catalyze the reaction, that is V0. Do you understand? Because we are
Yes,
adding
sir.
some extra acid and again the acetic acid is formed in the reaction. And initially we are adding dilute HCl. So for that A is replaced by V infinity minus V0. So which one you are doing by treating dilute HCl in the like your conical flask, and in burette you are titrating with alkali, sodium hydroxide. So that is V infinity minus V0. So that is your A. And V infinity minus Vt is, Vt is the volume of alkali consumed at any time, because you are using a stopwatch to take the reading in different time intervals. So in a particular time interval, V infinity minus Vt you have to calculate. It means you have to calculate for number of times, because you are you not using for a particular time, so you are using for a different like different time intervals, so that you are then you will take the average. So V infinity minus Vt means Vt is the volume of alkali consumed at in a particular time period. Okay, so there you are using the cold water, means if you have already read your manual, so you are quenching the reaction and you are using cold water, ice cold water. Okay, so can you please tell me what do you mean by V infinity? Because V0 Vt I have explained. V infinity, what is that? What is V infinity? Any of you can tell me what is V infinity here?
Volume of sodium hydroxide.
Volume of?
Sodium hydroxide.
Yes.
Ma'am, for a sample of reaction, sample of
T equal to infinity.
What is
Volume,
that?
volume, volume of sodium hydroxide at infinity time.
What do you mean by that infinity time? Shall we do this experiment for an infinite time period?
No,
at
no,
the
no,
end
no,
of
For
no.
the
the
end of
reaction.
reaction.
मैम
हाँ?
जब रिएक्शन खत्म हो जाएगा तब
कब खत्म होगा?
वो जब भी होगा मैम देखना पड़ेगा ना।
आप तो 1 आवर में करोगे या जो भी है within 3 hours you have to complete this process. So कैसे infinity, आपको क्या infinity time period तक तो हम लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन what do you mean by V infinity?
Ma'am, volume of
Ma'am,
NaOH
how
is
slow?
used for a sample reaction when the mixture is kept in water between.
Room temperature.
Yes, ma'am, 50 to 60 degree.
Celsius.
And are you heating? See,
Yes.
one
Yes,
place
ma'am.
you are taking the cold water to quench the reaction, so that in that particular time period you will get the volume of the alkali consumed. And V infinity, when you are not quenching the reaction, you are just let it go, means like let the reaction happen. So you are not using, you are not quenching, means you are not restricting. Okay, so when you are using cold water, you are restricting the reaction, chemical reaction. Okay, so when you are using normal water and you are doing the experiment by using the normal water, then you are just allowing the reaction, that how much alkali it will consume in that process, let it consume. So that is your V infinity. Do you understand now? So one place you are using cold water, another one place you are using hot water. So then you have to plot the graph, you will find the slope, so that process is AG. So here you can see directly you are in the fifth stage, you are just adding sodium hydroxide to HCl containing phenolphthalein indicator, and you are writing the, you will assume, you will say that this is V0 because you are here ethyl acetate is not added. And here again into that HCl solution you are adding ethyl acetate and you have started the reaction, and like Vt you will determine, so in different time period. Okay, I think procedure part sir will explain you. So 0 minute means like you are not adding, in 0 you will not add anything, like ethyl acetate will not be there, only sodium hydroxide and HCl titration. Then 10 minutes you will add, 20 minutes you will add, from that reaction mixture you will titrate with sodium hydroxide. So similarly for up to 1 hour you will do this experiment. Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
For everyone?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay then. So let us move to the procedure part. Sir will discuss with you all, so you will be more, you will get more clarity. Okay. So let me stop this screen, otherwise I'll forget. Okay, sir, please continue the procedure part.
Okay, thank you, madam. So once again, very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir.
Good morning to all of you. So you see, today we are going to carry out experiment number 6. And experiment 6, you are going to measure the rate constant in a hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. You are going to carry out the hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. From there, you are going to determine the rate constant for this hydrolysis reaction. So before coming to this experiment, can anybody will be able to tell me what do you mean by rate of reaction? What you mean by rate of reaction? If anybody is going to ask you what you mean by rate of reaction, how
sir,
will you define? Yes.
sir, the speed of declination of reaction part is known as the rate of the reaction.
You can, in a very more precise way, you can define in this way: the change in the concentration, of the reactant, or the change in the concentration of product for unit time. That is the rate of reaction. So from the definition, it is very much clear that you can measure the rate of a given reaction from either end. That means either by measuring the change in the concentration of the reactant, or you can measure the rate of reaction by measuring the change in the concentration of the product. From either end you can measure the rate of reaction. And the reaction which we are going to do is the hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. And you can see this hydrolysis of ethyl acetate is catalyzed by dilute HCl. So HCl will act as a catalyst. The dilute HCl means here we are using N/2 HCl, dilute HCl. HCl which is available in concentrated form is a 12 band. Jैसे sulfuric acid is available in the market in the form of 36F. Hydrochloric acid is available in the form of 12F. But we are using N/2 HCl as a catalyst for this hydrolysis reaction. So when this hydrolysis reaction is going on, if you check the chemical equation, you can see when 1 mole of ethyl acetate, because the equation which is given to you is in a balanced form, and you can see that when 1 mole of ethyl acetate is being hydrolyzed, it produces 1 mole of acetic acid and 1 mole of ethyl alcohol. In the other way, we can also say if 1 mole of acetic acid is produced due to hydrolysis, then how many moles of ethyl acetate is being hydrolyzed? Can you tell? If 1 mole of acetic acid is produced due to the hydrolysis, then how many moles of ethyl acetate is being hydrolyzed?
1 mole.
1. So that means when you are getting 1 mole of acetic acid, 1 mole of ethyl acetate is being hydrolyzed. And in this experiment, we are going to measure the rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate first. But instead of measuring the hydrolysis of ethyl acetate, rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate, we are going to measure the rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate by measuring the concentration, by measuring the change in the concentration of the product, that means acetic acid, for unit time. Because you know that we can also measure the rate of reaction by measuring the concentration of the product. So by measuring the change in the concentration of acetic acid, we are going to measure the rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. Are you getting to this line or not? Are you able to understand? Yes or no? So,
Yes, sir.
Could you repeat it?
Kind of.
yes, yes.
Sir, can you repeat that line?
Yes. I have told you from the beginning that we are going to measure the rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. And you see, we can measure the rate of a reaction either by measuring the change in the concentration of the reactant or by measuring the change in the concentration of the product. In either way, you can measure the rate of a given reaction. And in this case, when ethyl acetate, when 1 mole of ethyl acetate is hydrolyzed, it produces 1 mole of acetic acid. Indirectly, we can say when 1 mole of acetic acid is being produced, that means 1 mole of ethyl acetate is hydrolyzed. So here we are going to measure the rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate by measuring the change in the concentration of the product. and here the product is acetic acid. We are not going to measure the hydrolysis of this reaction by measuring the change in the concentration of the reactor. We are going to measure the change in the concentration of the product, and by measuring that one, we are going to determine the rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. Are you getting or not?
Yes, sir.
We are measuring the change in the concentration of product, because you see 1 mole of ethyl acetate is being hydrolyzed, 1 mole acetic acid is produced. That means when 1 mole of acetic acid is being produced, 1 mole of ethyl acetate is hydrolyzed. So here we are measuring how much of acetic acid is being produced at a different time. We are going to measure that. And from there we are going to measure the change in the concentration of acetic acid. Suppose we are going to observe 10 minutes, in 10 minutes this is the concentration of acetic acid. In 20 minutes this is the concentration of acetic acid. We'll subtract how much acetic acid is being produced in 10-minute duration. So in 1 minute, in 1 second we can calculate. And from there we can get the rate of hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. And again you see how you will be able to measure the concentration of acetic acid. How you can measure? How you can measure the concentration of an acid? Can anybody tell me? एसिड का concentration कैसे measure होगा? You know it or not? Have you measured the concentration of acid? Have you measured or not?
No, sir.
You have measured. In your class, in your class 2 class or a 12 class, you have already measured the concentration of acid. What is acid-base titration? In acid-base titration, what we are doing?
We are measuring the concentration.
Concentration of base is given, we are measuring the concentration of acid. So that means by carrying out simple acid-base titration, we can measure the concentration of acid. So that is why we are going to carry out the titration with sodium hydroxide. We will carry out the titration with sodium hydroxide so that we can measure what is the concentration of acetic acid. By using the formula N1B1 is equal to N2B2, we can measure.
Sir?
Yes.
Then we can also calculate the concentration of acid by using litmus paper or any indicator.
No. In that case, you are not measuring. When you are using litmus paper, you are able to know whether it is acid or base. Are you getting?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You are not able to measure the concentration of acid by using a litmus paper or pH paper. You are able to determine whether it is a acid or a base or it is neutral by using litmus paper. When you are using pH paper, you can know how much acetic acid, how much acid or how much basic it is. But you are not able to measure the concentration. Only by carrying out the titration, you will be able to measure. So here, to measure the concentration of acid, we are going to measure the, we are going to do the titration with sodium hydroxide. That is why sodium hydroxide is necessary. So here you will find you are going to fill the burette with sodium hydroxide, and you are going to find out how much sodium hydroxide is required to neutralize that acid. So here, a very simple experiment, you are going to measure the concentration of acid. And as I have told you, in this reaction, dilute HCl acts as a catalyst for this hydrolysis reaction. And what is the function of a catalyst? Do you know? What is the function of a catalyst?
Increases the rate of reaction.
Yes. It increases the rate of reaction, whether the concentration of a catalyst is going to be changed or not.
No, sir.
No, sir.
That means in this hydrolysis reaction, the concentration of HCl will remain constant throughout the reaction. There is no change in the concentration of HCl. It will remain constant throughout the reaction. So now you tell me at time zero, that means when no hydrolysis reaction is there. At that time, the concentration of acid is due to presence of which acid? Are you getting to my question? At time zero means no hydrolysis reaction is there. No hydrolysis reaction is there means no acetic acid is there. So at that particular time, the concentration of acid is due to the presence of only the catalyst, only the HCl, because it is remaining present from the beginning till the end or throughout the reaction. So at the very beginning, when time is zero, at that point of time, the concentration of acid is only due to the presence of the catalyst. At a definite time, suppose I am going to measure what is the concentration of acid at 10 minutes or at a definite time interval. In that case, the concentration of acid will be due to what?
Acetic acid and HCl.
At that time, the concentration of acid is due to presence of both the catalyst and the acetic acid. And at time zero, you know what is the concentration of HCl. So you subtract. You will be able to determine how much acetic acid is produced in a definite time interval. So suppose you have carried out the titration. At time zero, you have carried out the titration with sodium hydroxide. And when you have carried out the titration, you require 20.1 ml of sodium hydroxide to neutralize at time zero. Try to understand. At time zero, when you have carried out the titration, you have consumed 20.1 ml of sodium hydroxide. At 10 minutes, now you are again measuring what is the hydrolysis reaction at 10 minutes. At 10 minutes, when again you are carrying out the titration, you will consume same 20.1 ml of sodium hydroxide, or you will consume less than 20.1, or you will consume more than 20.1.
More than 20.
All of you agree? More than 21? All of you agree or not?
Yes, sir.
Same.
Yes.
Definitely, it will be more than 20.1. Because at 20.1, which we are consuming at time zero, this 20.1 ml of sodium hydroxide is consumed for the neutralization of only HCl. At a definite time, when again you are carrying out the titration, the sodium hydroxide which you are going to consume for the neutralization of both HCl and the acetic acid. HCl concentration remains same. So for HCl you will consume definitely 20.1, and for acetic acid you will consume definitely a little bit more. So definitely when you are checking the concentration of acid at a definite time interval, you will find the volume of sodium hydroxide will definitely increase. Suppose there is no increase. At 0 minute or at time 0, you have consumed 20.1. At 10 minutes, you have also consumed 20.1. What is the conclusion you will draw? What conclusion?
No formation of acetic acid.
That means no formation of acetic acid means there is no hydrolysis reaction. If hydrolysis reaction is going on, definitely you will consume more sodium hydroxide with respect to time. So here you will find no concordant observation. In the other titration which you have done till now, you have seen the concentration of the solution remains constant. That is why the difference is always same, and you are getting 3 consecutive same difference. Or if you will do another 5 observation, you will get the same difference. But here with the progress of time, the volume of sodium oxide will go in a increasing order. Are you able to understand till now whatever is being told to you?
Yes.
So can you tell me in this case which indicator we can use? Methyl orange or phenolphthalein?
Phenolphthalein.
We are going to use phenolphthalein because you are going to carry out the titration between a strong base. Sodium oxide is a strong base, and acetic acid is
Weak acid.
weak acid. Strong base versus weak acid. That is why you are using phenolphthalein as the indicator. So let us see how to carry out the experiment. At any part, if you are not able to understand, you will type. And all of you will be careful. I have seen your copy in the last experiment. 5 or 6 of you have copied the graph. That means the same graph you have submitted. One of you have drawn the graph, and that graph is shared and that graph is uploaded. So as it is your first chance, you do not know, 1 mark has been deducted. Next time, if same graph means one of you has drawn the graph and only roll number change करके बाकी सब uploaded here. If you do in this manner, then total mark will be 0. Remember this one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in this experiment, do we have to draw the graph?
Yes, you have to draw the graph.
Sir, where? In the graph paper?
Yes, in the graph paper. In the graph paper.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You see, this experiment can be done in 2 different ways. You can find the value of K by mathematical method. You can also find the value of K by graphical method. In 2 different ways you can calculate. But we are not doing the calculation by mathematical method, because mathematical method is a little bit longer and you have to take the average. At different time you have to find the value of K. K10 कितना होगा, K20 कितना होगा, K30 कितना होगा, then you have to take the average. We are not going to do that one. We will do it by a very simple calculation, and that is in the graphical method.
Okay, sir.
So can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in this experiment, you require the same type of glassware. Burette is required, 10 ml, 50 ml burette. We require 2 pipettes. One is a 10 ml pipette, another is a 20 ml pipette. You also require the conical flask.
Sir, we have to make 4 graphs.
4 graphs, only 1 graph.
4 tables. Observation.
4 tables.
Yes, 4 tables. 4 table. 1 table is देखो, demonstration 2 table and experiment के लिए 2 table. We will go to that one. So first to check what you require. You can see this one is the dilute HCl, which will act as a catalyst. And this dilute HCl was taken in a measuring flask. You can see this is a measuring flask, or you can call it as a volumetric flask. And measuring flask or volumetric flask are of different capacity. 50 ml होता है, 100 ml volumetric flask is there, 200 ml, 250 ml, 500 ml, 1 liter volumetric flask is also there. So this volumetric flask which we are going to use in this experiment is a 100 ml volumetric flask, or you can say 100 ml measuring flask. There is a neck mark And when you will take the solution in the measuring class up to that mark, that means lower ministers of the solution is up to that mark, the solution will contain that much of solution. That means as it is a 100 ml measuring class, when you will take the solution up to the neck mark, it will contain exactly 100 ml of solution. So this is the dilute HCl which will act as a catalyst we have taken. This is the sodium hydroxide solution, distilled water. And for this experiment, we are also using a water bath to heat the solution, and we also require a clock or you can say a stopwatch, anything by which you can measure the time. You can check the time. Okay, this one is the hot water bath we are using to heat the solution. So first you see how we are doing. The regular practice, you have to wash the burette, pipette and conical flask thoroughly with the distilled water. And in the burette, you are going to take the sodium hydroxide solution. So you must have to rinse the burette with the sodium hydroxide. So I am taking a few ml of sodium hydroxide solution and rinsing the burette. And after rinsing, the solution should be discarded, should be thrown out. Now fill the burette with the sodium hydroxide solution. And here also you remember one thing, for each observation, the initial burette reading should be taken as 0. Because you do not know how much solution is going to be consumed for each observation. Here the reading, the difference will not be a constant. So that is why once you have taken the observation, fill the burette, make it to 0. So we have adjusted the initial burette reading to 0. So now burette work is over. Now we have to rinse the pipette. The 10 ml pipette, you forget about the 20 ml pipette. I will tell you what is the function of 20 ml pipette. So you wash the pipette first. We are using a 10 ml pipette. After washing, rinse the pipette with the HCl. And HCl we have taken in the measuring class. And you can see that in the measuring class we have taken excess HCl. I have told you there is a marking in the measuring class. Up to that mark it will contain 100 ml. But we have taken a little bit excess HCl in that measuring class, so that we can utilize the excess HCl for rinsing our 10 ml pipette. You see there is a marking at this point, but we have taken excess HCl. So rinse the pipette with the excess HCl. Now you throw out that HCl. And after this one, what you will do? After rinsing, if still excess HCl is there in the measuring class, with the help of pipette, you take out the excess HCl and throw it out. You throw out the excess HCl, make the volume adjusted up to the mark, so that the measuring flask will contain exactly 100 ml of dilute. So you see, I am taking out the excess HCl and I am throwing out that one. I am going to adjust the volume up to the mark in the measuring flask. So now the volume is adjusted, and now the measuring flask contains exactly 100 ml of dilute. And we are going to take the first assumption at time 0. At time 0 means when the concentration of acetic acid is 0. That means at time 0, the concentration of acid is due to only the catalyst. So that is why before carrying out the hydrolysis reaction, you would take out 10 ml of dilute HCl from that measuring flask to measure the concentration of HCl. So this is the observation which I am going to carry out for time 0. Time 0 means the concentration due to only the catalyst or the HCl. So I am taking out the HCl from the measuring flask, 10 ml. And I am going to transfer that solution HCl to a conical flask. Now to that one, you add 1 or 2 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. And when you are going to add phenolphthalein indicator to an acid medium, there will be no change in the color of the solution. Phenolphthalein is a colorless indicator. Add 1 or 2 drops. There will be no change in the color of the solution. Now you carry out the titration with sodium hydroxide till the color is changed to pink. And here, as you know, that every observation is important and we are going to take the exact observation. So in each case, you are going to add a drop by drop, not by 0.5 method. No rough reading is here. You go on adding drop by drop. And don't mix the solution vigorously. You move it slowly while you are adding, because you are carrying out a neutralization technique. Slowly mix the solution in a circular manner. So continue till you are getting a pink color. So you see, when you are adding at the beginning, you are not observing any change in color. Now you can see when the sodium hydroxide is dropping, the color is changed a little bit, but again when you are mixing it, the color vanishes. So go on adding till you are able to get a permanent pink color. continue the addition. No change, continue. You can observe pink color is appearing, but when you are mixing it, again the pink color is vanished. Continue till you are able to get a permanent pink color. At which drop the pink color will appear and will remain. Then will not vanish again. You have to take that one as your final purity. Now you can see you are able to get a permanent pink color. And record what is the final Buret reading you are able to get. We have started the Buret reading from 0. Now the final Buret reading is 18.3. So difference is 18.3. Where you are starting from 0, whatever will be the final Buret reading, that will be the difference. So first observation is completed. Now we are going to find out the second observation. At 10 minutes, how much hydrolysis reaction is there. So now, till now, hydrolysis reaction is now started. Now you are going to start the hydrolysis reaction. So you take, you can see in this measuring flask, how much dilute HCl is there. How much HCl is there now?
Sir, 90 ml.
Yes, definitely it is 90 ml because 100 ml we have adjusted at the beginning, 100 ml. And for time 0, we have taken out 10 ml of HCl from this one. So now there is 90 ml of dilute HCl in this measuring cup. And we are going to start the hydrolysis reaction. So to this 90 ml of dilute HCl, we are going to add approximately 5 ml of ethyl acetate. So see, and at what time we are going to add? At which time we are going to add? You have to record that time. You record that time at which you are going to add ethyl acetate, because that will be the starting time for the hydrolysis reaction. So now you check the time. The time is 11:21, exactly at 11:21 in this clock, at which time this experiment was being done. 11:21 I am going to add. So that is the starting time for the hydrolysis reaction. And you can see after addition of ethyl acetate, you put the stuff, and you can see when you will add ethyl acetate, it will form one layer over the surface of dilute HCl. Because ethyl acetate is an organic solvent, so it will form one layer over the surface of dilute HCl. And after addition, you have to mix the solution. And when you will mix the solution, what will happen? That ethyl acetate will be converted to teeny droplets, so that the contact surface area with the dilute HCl will increase. And by that way, the rate of reaction will increase. So to speed up the reaction, you are doing this one. You have to mix the solution for 5 minutes. And after mixing the solution, you keep the measuring flask and you wait the time. The next observation, we are going to take at 10 minutes. So at which time we will take? We have to measure the hydrolysis reaction at 10 minutes. So at which time we have to take the observation?
Sir, 11:31.
Definitely, it is 11:31 because 11:21 the hydrolysis reaction is started, and we are going to measure how much the hydrolysis reaction is completed exactly at 10 minutes, not after 10 minutes or not before 10 minutes. So to do that one, what we'll do? Again, we keep it out from that solution. Now the solution in the measuring flask is called as the reaction mixture. At the beginning, it was HCl. And after addition of ethyl acetate, that is called as the reaction mixture. So we are going to measure how much of acetic acid is produced. So the time is 11:31. So at what time we will do the pipetting? Whether we will pipette out at 11:31 to carry out the titration, or whether we have to pipette out before 11:31. If we will pipette out exactly at 11:31, for pipetting we will take some time. For carrying out the titration, we will also take some time. And during that time which you are consuming for pipetting, for carrying out the titration, the reaction is also going up, the hydrolysis reaction is also going up. So by that way, you will not be able to measure how much the hydrolysis reaction is completed exactly at 10. So to do that one, what you will do? Before taking the reaction mixture in a conical flask, you keep ice-chilled water ready in your conical flask. Ice-chilled water लेके, that means water with ice-chilled temperature, लेके conical flask में ready करके रखो. You keep it ready. And your time is 11:31. So at 11:30 you start the pipetting. At 11:30 you start pipetting from the reaction mixture. How much? 10 ml. And exactly at 11:31 you release that solution to your conical flask, where already ice-chilled water is there. So when you are releasing the reaction mixture to the ice-chilled water, as the temperature is decreased, the rate of reaction will slow down and will almost be arrested. So the reaction will not proceed further. And what you will do? You will add phenolphthalein, carry out the cycle. That is the reason you are going to take ice-chilled water, to arrest the reaction, to slow down the reaction. Okay? So see how we are doing this one. Because this reaction occurs at room temperature. Now it is going to be 11:30. So now I am taking ice-chilled water and keeping it ready in the conical flask. Because if I will take ice-chilled water a little bit more before, that means suppose I will take ice-chilled water at 11:25, the temperature will come down to room temperature, will increase to the room temperature. So that is why a little before time you keep ice-chilled water ready in your conical flask. And I am taking that ice-chilled water in a 20 ml pipette. So by using a 20 ml pipette, which is a different pipette, you are taking the reaction mixture with a 10 ml pipette. Chilled water, I am using a 20 ml pipette. Now simultaneously I am also doing the pipetting. This is the reaction mixture, I am taking 10 ml. And exactly at 11:31 I am releasing. that 10 ml which I have pipetted to the clinical trial. So when you are adding to the ice water, the temperature of the reaction mixture is coming down and the reaction will also be arrested. So now the normal procedure, add phenolphthalein, carry out the test. And here, as you know, the difference will be more than what you are getting in the previous observation. So don't add drop by drop from the beginning. You go on adding directly that much solution which you have added in your first observation. Because you know definitely your reading must be more or it may be same if there is no hydrolysis. But it cannot be less than that one. So as your first observation is 18.3, so you go on adding 18.2 directly down. Because you know your reading must be more than that one. So here also you are starting the initial Biuret reading from 0. I am adding directly 18.3. After that one, I will check it at drop by drop. So add continuously, drop by drop. बड़ा डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर गोटे लिटर अधिक दौन 1 लिटर कहाँ गोटे So go on adding. Yes. So now you can see the color is changed to pink. And now you record down the observation. So now you can see the reading is 18.4 at 10 minutes. It is 18.4. So now you are going to take the third observation, that is at 20 minutes. So what will be the time? 20 minutes means at what time you are going to take?
41.
It will be at which time? 11:41, right? Because we have started the hydrolysis reaction at 11:21. 20 minutes means at 11:41 again we are going to take. So you do not have to prepare the solution again, because the solution which is there in the measuring class, that is your stock solution. From there you are going to take at a different time. So now again, and you see another thing here, what we are going to do in between. In between what we are going to do, as you see, that the last observation is at infinite time. And you know, infinite time means what is the maximum hydrolysis and what is the maximum acetic acid which is produced due to hydrolysis reaction. And to do that one, if after all the observation you will take that one, you will consume more time. You will not be able to finish your experiment within the time limit. So in this case, what we are going to do, we are going to take a 10 ml of reaction mixture. We are going to take 10 ml of reaction mixture into a conical flask where distilled water you have to keep different. That means you will not keep chilled water. You will not keep chilled water. You are going to keep normal water in that conical flask. Because if you will take ice chilled water, the reaction will be arrested. And you are going to speed up the hydrolysis reaction. So to speed up the hydrolysis reaction, you have to increase the temperature. So if you will put the reaction mixture into the conical flask, the rate of reaction will be decreased. So that is why, in this case, for the infinite observation, what you have to do, you will take 10 ml of reaction mixture. To that one, you will add 20 ml of normal water instead of chilled water. And then you have to heat the solution. Why you are going to heat the solution? Because if you heat the solution, the rate of hydrolysis reaction will be increased. And maximum hydrolysis reaction will be completed within 1 hour. So that is why you are going to take the normal water and you are going to heat the solution now. You see, in this case, we are keeping the reaction mixture for infinite absorption and taking 10 ml of normal water. Because I am getting some time. The first observation is completed at 11:31 or 32. And the third observation I am going to take at 11:41. In between I am getting some time. So I am taking 20 ml of normal water. To that one, I am going to add 10 ml of reaction mixture. Add now cover it with a cloth and keep the conical flask on a heating water bath. And this whole heating water bath is maintained Are you able to listen me or not?
Slowly.
And no response is there. That means I think that all of you are not there in the experiment.
Sir, actually your video froze, I think, for everybody.
No, I am making it for now. So now I am going to take the 20-minute observation. So it is going to be 11:41. I am taking out the reaction mixture 10 ml. So what phenol saline? And again you take this observation from 0. And carry out the titration. This observation you are going to take at 20 minutes. So now you are getting the pink color. And you have started the zero trading from 0, final is 19.0, difference is also 19.0. So the next observation you are going to take at 30 minutes, that means you are going to take at 11:51. So it is going to be 1150. In between you take out ice chill water. Same procedure, whatever procedure you have followed, 10 minutes, the same procedure is to be followed for 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. Take out 20 ml of ice chill water. So now it is going to be 1151 and we have taken out 10 ml of reaction mixture. Add to your chemical flask. Then to this one you will add phenolphthalein and carry out the titration. In this case also, initial breath reading must be set from 0. So don't adding. So you know directly you can add 18.3, then you have to add drop by drop. Okay, you can see now the color is changed. And record the observation. What is the final period? We have started from 0. Final period reading is 19.7. Difference is 19.7. Then we have to take the observation at 40 minutes. So 40 minutes means at 12:01, 11:21 plus 40. The same process we will keep it out. It is going to be 12, so we will keep ice filled water ready. Now keep it out, 10 ml of reaction mixture. And add that 10 ml of reaction mixture to the conical flask. Now phenolphthalein, and again you continue the titration from 0. So definitely this observation you will require the volume of sodium oxide will be more than the previous observation. So go on adding directly 18.3, start from 0. Still there is no change, add drop by drop. So note down what is the final mirror reading. Started from 0, final is 20.4, difference is also 20.4. Okay, so now we are going to take the observation at 50 minutes. 50 minutes means it is at 11:11. Sorry, 12:11. So we are taking ice chilled water ready. It is going to be 12:10. Ice chilled water, keep it ready. So now take out the reaction mixture. And exactly at 12:11 add to the chilled water. Add phenolphthalein, and again you carry out the titration by adjusting the initial burette reading to 0. The same thing, you know, this observation definitely it will require more than 20.4. So go on adding 19 ml. Now check it drop by drop. Okay. Okay, now the color is permanent. Note down the final burette reading. (21.1). So now you have to take the last observation, that means at 60 minutes. This will be at 12:21. So at 12:20, keep ice chilled water ready in the conical flask. Then pipette out the reaction mixture, 10 ml. And add to the conical flask exactly at 12:21. Now to that one, you will add phenolphthalein, same process. Add phenolphthalein and carry out the titration. This is the observation you are going to take at 16. Okay. So now see what is the final Bureau reading. So started from 0. Final Bureau reading is 21.5. Difference is the 21. So now you see how to take the infinite observation. So we have already kept the reaction mixture on a heating water bath. So now in between we have passed almost more than 50 minutes. So now what you will do, you will take out this conical flask. If you will keep it for more duration, there will be no problem, because once maximum hydrolysis reaction is completed, after that one, if you are keeping, there will be no change. So take out the conical flask from the hot water bath, open the cork, keep the conical flask on the table for a certain time, and after that one, you see that it comes back to the room temperature, normal temperature. And when it comes back to normal room temperature, so that one you will add phenolphthalein and carry out the reaction. You do not have to take the reaction mixture again, because already you have taken the reaction mixture before heating it. So in this conical flask, 20 ml water and 10 ml reaction mixture is already there. So now it is a normal room temperature, so that one you add phenolphthalein and you continue the titration. And here, whatever difference you will get, that will be the maximum difference. That will be the maximum volume of sodium oxide consumed. It is the observation for infinite time. Infinite means after infinite time, what will happen? The maximum hydrolysis will be completed. After that one, there will be no increase in the hydrolysis. There will be no increase in the concentration of acetic acid. So continue. Now you can see the pink color is appearing. And you are getting the color is changed at, note down, what is the final Bureau reading. You have started from 0. Final one is 32.5 and difference you are getting is 32.5. So this is your original observation table. From this observation table, your second observation table will be derived. You see? Here, this is the second observation table, and while you are drawing both the observation table, you will draw in the single page. Single page means at the top this observation table will be there. On that page at the bottom this observation table will be there. On the same page you have to keep both observation tables. One is at the top, the next one is at the bottom. So this is your demonstration observation table. Time in minute. V infinite. This is a little bit wrong.
So can you repeat again, because you are not audible to me due to network problem?
You see, you are going to do two observation table. I have drawn this observation table side by side. You should not draw like this. Ek observation table, that means it will be on the top. Top means on the left side of your record, blank side. Another this observation table will be drawn at the base of this observation. That means both the observation table will be on the same page. One is at the top, another is at the bottom.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So do we need to do the same for the experimental observation table?
Yes, experimental observation table.
Sir, but actually I have done it on the next page. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So you see, you should be rectified. V infinite minus V0, it is not correct. V infinite minus Vt hoga. V infinite minus Vt log V infinite minus Vt. So at time 0, you see how to do the calculation. Therefore, V infinite is 32.5. At time 0, 0 is 18.3. So what will be V infinite minus V0? 32.5 minus 18.3. You see how we are calculating. 32.5 minus 18.3, it is equal to 14.2. And you have to take the log value, not ln value. You have to take the log value of this one.
Sir, what is the value of V infinite minus V0?
देखो लिखा हुआ ना 14.2.
अच्छा 14.2 okay, sir.
Then V infinite 32.5 minus 18.4, it is 14.1. Then at 20, it is 13.5. Then at 30 minutes, it is 32.5 minus 19.7. This is shown to you so that you can know how to do the calculation. Because the observation table which I am going to share you, in that part it will not be given. You have to do the calculation. 12.5, this one. At 50 minutes, 32.5 minus 21.1, it is equal to 11.4. This one, 60 minutes, 32.5 minus 21.5, this is equal to 11. Now you see how to calculate. You have to take the log value. If I see this one, I will tell you detail about the graph so that while you are plotting the graph, you will not be confused. 14.2 का log value देंगे.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So in the second column, you wrote V infinite minus V0. So
It
in
is
the lab
VT.
manual, it is written.
I have already told. It is V infinite minus Vt.
Okay, sir.
And in the third one, log V infinite minus Vt. That means 14.2 का log value कितना होगा? यहाँ पे लिखो. 14.1 का log value कितना होगा? यहाँ पे लिखो. After that one, you have to plot a graph.
Sir, 3 decimal places तक जाना
Yes,
है ना?
you have to write the log value up to 3 decimal. 3 decimal तक लिखना होगा. Then how to plot the graph? You see. You are going to find the value of k by graphical method. This side you will take time in minute. This side you will take log infinite minus Vt. And in the x-axis you have to take 2 cm is equal to 10 minutes. And regarding the y-axis, it will depend upon the value of this one. I will tell you later. So you have to plot the points. Your points may not be on the same straight line, but whatever may be, you have to draw a base fitted line. Can you understand what is the meaning of base fitted line? You have to draw the line in such a manner that if some points are on the right side of the line, some points must be on the left side of the line. That means you have to draw an average line considering all the points. You see? Okay. Some points may be on the left side, some points may be on the right side.
So we have to draw a straight line.
Yes, you have to draw a straight line. All the points may not be on the line. Then you have to find out the slope of this straight line by considering any two arbitrary points. Remember, you will not consider these points. You cannot take the slope from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You have to draw the slope from any other point leaving this one. You can calculate the slope at a 12.22 or 12.31 at any other points, but not on these points. So you see how to calculate the slope. This one is your x1, y1. This one is your x2, y2. And you remember, I have seen, while you are plotting the points, don't write the coordinates of each point. You should not write the coordinates. The graph looks very odd. If you want, you can write the coordinate of the slope points only. Suppose x1 and y1, इसका coordinate लिख सकते हो, and you can write the coordinate of the. and the other points should be marked clearly. Make a fine dot, encircle that one. And you see slope is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And whatever slope you are getting, the slope definitely will be a negative one because it is a descending line. And you know k is equal to minus k is equal to 2.303 into your slope. This is the value of minus k. So k value will be a positive one because slope is the negative one. So k is equal to whatever you are getting. What will be the unit? Unit is minute inverse because you have taken time in minute. So your k value will be in minute inverse. But you have to express the value of k in second inverse. So what you will do? Whatever result you are getting, you will divide it or you will multiply it.
So multiply.
You will divide it by 60, not multiply. Because it is a time inverse, minute inverse name. It is not in minute.
Yes, sir.
It is in minute inverse. You have to make it into second inverse. So divide that result with 60 and get the unit in second inverse. Okay. So at the end, you will write what is the value of k. In the conclusion, you will write the rate constant for this hydrolysis of ethyl acetate reaction was found out to be this one. So this is a very easy way to calculate. But if you will do it by mathematical method, at a different value, you will get different value of k. 0 till 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30, 40, 50, 60. Then you have to take the average. That is why what we are doing, we are plotting the points, drawing an average line, finding out the slope, and from the slope we are calculating the value of k. You do not have to do the calculation by mathematical method. You have to do it by the graphical method. So now I am going to share the observation table, which you will write. You can see different observation table for different roll number. This one for 756 to 808 in the red color. And in the blue color, this one. All of you write, then you will tell me regarding this value, I will write.
Sir, can you please scroll down a little?
Yes.
Can you please scroll down a little?
You complete the writing of this observation table.
Sir, sir,
Yes.
sir, the table 2 we have to make below the table 1.
Yes, below the table.
Sir, but in observation means like this one table I have made, the below one I have made in next page.
Okay.
And there's no space below
Yes.
that.
If there is no space, then you are bound to do it on the next page.
Okay, thank you, sir.
If space is there, I am telling you, no space is there.
So,
Yes.
what will be the scale for the graph?
Yes, first you write this one, then I will write.
Okay, sir.
So for this experiment, graph is the important one. You have to draw the graph carefully.
Sir, writing is complete.
Acha. You can tell me so that I will write here and there will be no problem. Roll number 766 to 808. You should be careful with your calculator. Be ready with the calculator. Tell me at time 0 what is B infinite minus BT?
So 15.2.
15.2. Yes. Next one.
14.2.
14.2. Next one.
13.2.
13.2. Next one.
12.8.
12.8. Right. Next one.
11.8.
11.8. Yes. Next one.
11.1.
11.1. Next one.
10.4.
10.4. Now you, 10.4. Now you tell me the log value so that I can write also. 15.2 का log value कितना बोलो? And those who have with the green table, they should do this one. B infinite minus BT. Likho. I will ask you.
1.181.
Yes, right. 1.181. Yes, right. Next one. Yes.
1.152.
1.1. Is it right?
Yes.
Next
Yes,
one.
sir.
Next one.
1.12.
Next one.
1.107.
Next one.
1.071.
Yes, right. Next one.
1.045.
Next one.
1.017.
1.0.
17.
Okay, right. It is right. Those who are with the green table, can you tell me? Quick.
15.5.
So 15.5.
Yes, next one.
14.5.
14.4.
Yes, next one.
13.3.
13.3. Next one.
12.7.
12.7.
7.
Next one. Next one.
12.0.
Next.
11.1.
Next.
10.4.
Yes. Log value बोलो जल्दी.
1.190.
Next one.
1.158.
Next one.
1.124.
Next one.
1.104.
1.103.
No, 1.104.
4 लास्ट में 8 है ना.
Okay. Next. Next.
1.079.
Next.
1.045.
Next.
1.017.
Oh, both are the same. Okay. So see how to plot the graph. Both of you listen. Both the groups. So in the x-axis, you have to take you have to take the time. So in the x-axis, you can take 2 centimeter is equal to 10 minutes. Okay. In the y-axis, you see. First, those who have with a red color observation table. you leave 1 centimeter or 2 centimeter break from the origin. You take the break and start it from 1.00. From the origin, you leave 1 or 2 division, make a break, take a break, and you start that point from 1.00. And you take the scale in the y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 0.01. Similarly, those who are with the green table, they also do the same thing. In the y-axis, first 2 division you leave, make a break, start it from 1.00. Then each division, each 1 centimeter you take as 0.01. And you have to plot the point by considering the third decimal. You can easily plot with this scale. You have to plot the point by considering the third decimal. After plotting the points, you draw the straight line. You have to be careful. Draw the straight line with minimum deviation. And yes.
Third digit, what you were told?
Suppose you say how you can plot. all of you make your microphone off. So third decimal means, suppose the first point is 1.01, then second point is 1.02. So you can easily plot 1.017, 1.01 के बाद 7 small division छोड़ के 0.2, that is 1.017. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
So that is why this scale is given, so that you can plot the point by considering the third decimal. And can you tell me, you have taken so many observations, and out of all these observations, which observation is the most important observation? Which observation is the most important observation? Can anybody tell me? You have taken 7 observations. Which observation is the most important observation?
Fifth one.
Yes.
So the infinite one.
Sir, infinite one.
Infinite observation is the most important observation. If that goes wrong, everything will go wrong, because you are subtracting from the infinite. A second observation, which is the important, then second. This is the most important. Uske baad, which one is important?
Sir, every observation.
No. After this one, V0 is important. Why V0 you are telling important? Because once you know V0, the other observation will be easier for you. Because here you know V0 is 18.4. So while you are taking V10, you will directly add 18. Then you will add drop by drop. So once you have taken V0 correctly, the other observation will be easier for you. So after V infinite, the second one is V0. After that one, all observations are important. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will stop the sharing of this observation table. I have.
Sir, can you show the marks of previous experiment?
Yes, definitely. I'm going to share that.